Kesehatan received COVID-19 claims of 64.1 trillion rupiah. Indonesia's digital economy is projected to increase 8 times in 2030. Good evening, viewers. Market Headlines is ready to provide you information from business, economic, and capital market sector. And as the pandemic is still ongoing, we will provide you the latest COVID-19 information. Please stay safe by taking some simple precautions such as physical distancing, wearing a mask, avoiding crowds, cleaning your hands, and having less mobility. And with me, Fajar Wayong, this is Market Headline. Let's open up Market Headline. The Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs revealed that the investment value that had flowed in 19 special economic zones in Indonesia reached 64.4 trillion rupiah as of October 2021. Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs Erlangga Hartarto reported that the investment value that had flowed in 19 special economic zones in Indonesia reached 64.4 trillion rupiah as of October 2021. This investment flow also absorbed around 23,000 workers from all regions of Indonesia.
Kita sudah memiliki 19 kawasan ekonomi khusus dan sudah 15 beroperasi dan investasinya sebesar 64,4 triliun dan ini dari jumlah 150 perusahaan sudah ada 23.000 tenaga kerja dan ekspornya sebesar 3,8 triliun. Dan hari ini KIK Gresik telah diterbitkan melalui peraturan pemerintah nomor 71 dan ini salah satu yang dari brownfield, Pak. Jadi yang dari brownfield adalah kawasan industri JP dan yang kedua di Kendal, Pak.
In addition to providing investment flows and employment, Erlangga also noted that there are 150 companies operating throughout the special economic zones. Several companies carry out export activities with a value of 3.8 trillion rupiah until October 2021. Meanwhile, Erlangga ensured that the economic value of various special economic zones in Indonesia in the future will increase, one of which is the Gresik Special Economic Zone. This is because Freeport has built a smelter with a large capacity in this area. IDX Channel reports. President Joko Widodo has prepared funds worth 510.79 billion rupiah in the 2022 state budget for the construction of the new capital in East Kalimantan. In Presidential Regulation Number 85 of 2021 concerning the government's 2022 work plan, the President stated that the provision of funds for the development of the state capital was carried out in order to develop the region to reduce inequality and ensure equity. Previously, Bappenas confirmed the need for funds for the relocation of the capital city of 486 trillion rupiah. The majority of the funds will be met through cooperation between the government and business entities amounting to 265.2 trillion rupiah. Then special funds from the private sector amounted to 127.3 trillion. Then special funds from the government will only allocate 93.5 trillion or about 19.2% of the total required funds. Meanwhile, the acting regional secretary for North Penajam Pasir Regency, East Kalimantan, Mulyadi, said that the budget allocation for the construction of the state capital from the central government was still the same as stated in 2022 government work plan. After being verified from January 2021 to October 2021, BPJS Kesehatan received 1.18 million COVID-19 claims submitted by hospitals with a total cost of 64.1 trillion rupiah. From January to October 2021, BPJS Kesehatan received 1.34 million cases of COVID-19 claims submitted by hospitals with a total cost of 72.3 trillion rupiah. After being verified by BPJS Kesehatan, the result was only 1.18 million COVID-19 claims with a total cost of 64.1 trillion rupiah. This was stated by the President Director of BPJS Kesehatan, Ali Gufron Mukti. Gufron again reminded that claims from January to October 2021 can be submitted by hospitals starting June 1, 2021 until no later than December 31, 2021. Meanwhile, claims for November 2021 and so on must be submitted no later than 2 months after the hospital provides health services to patients COVID-19. If the claim is submitted past the time limit as stated in the provisions, it will become an expired claim. Therefore, Gufron urged the hospital to immediately complete the COVID-19 claim filing according to the deadline given before it expires. IDX Channel reports. And we're moving on to global update. Members of the G20 group have pledged to avert an economic catastrophe in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund is slightly downgrading its outlook for the global recovery from the pandemic recession. And more stories on today's International Minute. Members of the G20 group of major economies have pledged to avert an economic catastrophe in Afghanistan. German Chancellor Angela Merkel said the country should not be allowed to descend into chaos. The virtual summit came as the UN urged world leaders to put billions of dollars into the Afghan economy. U.S. President Joe Biden stressed that aid should be provided via independent international organizations and not directly to the ruling Taliban. Pledges include a promise by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen to give €1 billion to Afghanistan and to neighboring countries taking in refugees. Venezuela is moving to prop up its national currency after the launch of a new version of the Bolivar with 6 fewer zeros caused prices to spike. The central bank has injected around $40 million per week into the exchange market following the October 1st introduction of the so-called digital Bolivar. That's about double the amount it normally sends to banks. So far, it's worked. The exchange rate on the street, known as the parallel market, was 4.1 bolivars per dollar Tuesday. The currency had weakened to 5.2 per dollar in advance to the digital Bolivar's introduction, as Venezuela rushed to get their hands on greenbacks. The International Monetary Fund is slightly downgrading its outlook for the global recovery from the pandemic recession, reflecting the persistence of supply chain disruptions in industrialized countries and deadly disparities in vaccination rates between rich and poor nations. In its latest World Economic Outlook being released Tuesday, the IMF foresees global growth this year of 5.9%, compared with its projection in July of 6%. For the United States, the world's largest economy, the IMF predicts growth of 6% for 2021, below its July forecast of 7%. Cristiano Ronaldo scored a hat-trick as Portugal recorded an emphatic World Cup qualifying win over Luxembourg at the Estadio Algarve. The victory leaves Portugal second in Group A point behind Serbia, who they host in their final game. Ronaldo knocked in 2 penalties and rounded off the scoring with a header, as he recorded his 58th hat-trick for club and country. Bruno Fernandes and Joao Hingga aided the other goals. IDX Channel report. Market headlines will be right back after this quick break. Stay tuned with us.
Kini aplikasi mClears hadir di handphone Anda untuk memudahkan transaksi Anda. Informasi aktivitas clearing dan penjaminan tidak lagi hanya dapat diakses melalui komputer di kantor Anda, melainkan dapat diakses di mana saja dan kapan saja dalam genggaman Anda. Fitur-fitur mClears. Equity clearing dan settlement adalah fitur di mana Anda dapat melihat posisi kewajiban settlement anggota clearing hingga nilai alternate case settlement serta informasi gagal bayar. Risk management adalah fitur di mana Anda dapat melihat posisi trading limit, kolateral, MKBD, portofolio harian, risk charge anggota clearing dan kombinasi, serta nilai minimum cash collateral. Derivatif adalah fitur di mana Anda dapat melihat posisi trading limit, margin call, dan informasi clearing derivatif. Terkait pinjam-meminjam efek, terdapat fitur mengenai borrowing information dan lendable pool information, serta lending revenue dan borrowing fee. Serta menu lain yang menampilkan informasi mengenai haircut, risk charge saham, dan nilai harga penyelesaian harian dan harga penyelesaian final. Selain itu, Anda juga dapat mengakses fitur pengumuman, peraturan, dan informasi layanan KPEI pada aplikasi mClears. Download aplikasi mClears di App Store atau Google Play Store. Lakukan registrasi user Anda dengan menggunakan alamat email berdomain resmi yang sesuai dengan anggota clearing Anda. Setelah registrasi, Anda akan diberikan kode OTP di email Anda untuk verifikasi, dan aplikasi mClears Anda siap untuk digunakan. Anda dapat mengakses seluruh menu pada aplikasi mClears dengan melakukan aktivasi berlangganan premium yang dapat dilakukan dengan memilih menu Get Premium. Download aplikasinya sekarang, lakukan registrasi, dan dapatkan kemudahan dalam genggaman tangan Anda. Kemudahan informasi KPEI dalam genggaman Anda.
Welcome back on Market Headlines. President Joko Widodo has opened up about the government's reasons for taking coal mines and oil refineries from foreign companies. The president said that the main reason for these actions was to secure and ensure the sustainability of Indonesia's natural resources in the future. President Joko Widodo has opened up about the government's reasons for taking coal mines and oil refineries from the hands of foreign companies in Indonesia, starting from taking over 51% of Freeport Indonesia's shares, acquiring the Mahakam block from Total and Impact Corporation, to acquiring the Rokan block from Chevron Pacific Indonesia. The president said the main reason for these various actions was to secure and ensure the sustainability of Indonesia's natural resources in the future. In addition, the government wants to do downstream in order to get added value from Indonesia's natural wealth.
Namun itu saja tidak cukup. Kita harus menjamin dan meningkatkan nilai tambah. Nilai tambah ini penting sekali. Nilai tambah yang maksimal untuk kepentingan nasional kita, untuk kepentingan dalam negeri kita, untuk kepentingan rakyat kita. Itulah mengapa kepemilikan beberapa perusahaan asing kita ambil alih. Freeport misalnya.
As is known, the government has taken over 51% of Freeport share ownership. And the government also acquired the Mahakam block, which has been managed by Total for 43 years and was then given to Pertamina with 100% ownership. Then the government also took over the Rokan block, which had been managed by Chevron for 97 years, to be given to Pertamina. IDX Channel reports. The Ministry of Trade sees the potential of Indonesia's digital economy is very large when compared to other countries in Southeast Asia. Its growth is projected to increase 8 times in 2030 and contribute 4,531 trillion rupiah to national economic growth. The Minister of Trade, Muhammad Lutfi, said the government would continue to focus on developing the potential of the digital economy. That great potential, according to Lutfi, this must be used as a momentum so that Indonesia can win the digital market. Lutfi emphasized to achieve the projection of digital economic growth, the government will carry out 3 strategies, including developing human resources, accelerating infrastructure throughout the region so that there are no longer infrastructure gaps, so that all Indonesian people can become part of digital economic growth, and prepare the ecosystem, proactive and collaborative regulatory innovation.
Potensi ekonomi digital Indonesia sangat besar dan jauh melebihi negara-negara lainnya di kawasan ASEAN. Pada tahun 2020 lalu, ekonomi digital Indonesia baru berkontribusi 4% terhadap GDP. Namun, pada tahun 2030, GDP Indonesia diperkirakan tumbuh setidaknya 1,5 kali lipat dari 15.400 triliun menjadi 24.000 triliun setidaknya. Ekonomi digital Indonesia juga diyakini akan tumbuh setidaknya 8 kali lipat dari 632 triliun rupiah hari ini menjadi 4.531 triliun. Pemerintah sedang dalam proses mengembangkan cetak biru ekonomi digital Indonesia dengan fokus pada 3 hal berikut. Yang pertama adalah sumber daya manusia. Kedua adalah infrastruktur.
Meantime, Coordinating Minister for Maritime Affairs and Investment Luhut Binsar Panjaitan said the market value of the Indonesian game industry would reach 24.4 trillion rupiah in 2021. Coordinating Minister for Maritime Affairs and Investment Luhut Binsar Panjaitan said that the market value of the Indonesian game industry would reach 24.4 trillion rupiah in 2021. Even though the market value is large, the Indonesian game industry is still dependent on imports. Luhut said imports of the Indonesian game industry reached 97%. Therefore, Luhut revealed that the government would impose restrictions. He wants the game industry to use products made in Indonesia. Previously, the Director General of Metal, Machinery, Transportation Equipment and Electronic Industries at the Ministry of Industry, Taufik Bawazir, said that his party had made efforts to strengthen the value chain in the content industry involving several supporting sectors, including the comics, animation, film, game, music and video industries. Taufik is optimistic with the formation of a good content industry ecosystem. The game industry as one of the supporting components in it will also grow and develop well. According to Taufik, with the huge potential of the game market in Indonesia, his party encouraged domestic game developers to optimize the opportunities that exist today. IDX Channel reports. Bank Indonesia noted that the manufacturing industry in Indonesia declined in the third quarter of 2021. This was reflected in the BI Prompt Manufacturing Index of 48.75, or lower than the previous quarter, 51.45. Head of the Bank Indonesia Communications Department Group, Muhammad Nur, said this decline was at least relatively better than the same quarter last year. This decline is in line with the results of the Business Activity Survey, which states that the manufacturing sector contracted due to the mobility restriction policy. In terms of subsectors, the majority of respondents experienced a decline in performance, with the subsector of wood goods and forest products as the lowest index, followed by the subsector of transportation equipment, machinery and equipment and fertilizers, chemicals and rubber goods. However, the central bank is optimistic that the performance of the manufacturing sector will improve in the final quarter of 2021. In this regard, Bank Indonesia projects the Prompt Manufacturing Index for the fourth quarter to reach 51.17, which is driven by all of its constituent components. Stay with us because market headlines will be back after this quick break with information from the capital market.
Seiring meluasnya cakrawala investasi di tengah pasar saham yang dinamis. Analisa mendalam diperlukan untuk menemukan saham berorientasi value yang menghasilkan kinerja yang tinggi. IDX Channel akan mengulas isu pasar dan pergerakan saham terkini. Saksikan ulasannya bersama analis terpercaya hanya di IDX Channel.
Aku mau kalau berbisnis pakai modalku sendiri walaupun kecil, tapi aku benar-benar punya semua decision kan aku. Jadi aku bisa ngelakuin semua yang aku mau. Jadi aku tuh pernah tiba-tiba tuh mikir kayak banyak banget ideku yang orang bilang gila, ngawur, kayak nekat kayak gitu-gitu kan.
Kayak yang gila, yang nekat itu yang kadang berhasil ya.
Iya, iya.
Welcome back. At the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement, earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 6,530.98. And then approaching the closing time on the first session, the index was closed on the level of 6,516.94. And then the index was showing strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,536.904. In short, Jakarta Composite Index went up 0.78%. And we're moving on to top gainers and top losers. Here are the key highlights from today's trading session. SWOT went up 13.33% to the level of 153 rupiah per share. Jawa went up 12.58% to the level of 170 rupiah. DGIK went up 12% to the level of 112 rupiah per share. And TRIM went up 11.11% to the level of 320 rupiah per share. And meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got BABP went down 6.98% to the level of 240 rupiah per share. BACA went down 6.92% to the level of 296 rupiah per share. BBYB went down 6.83% to the level of 1,160 rupiah per share. And Bumi went down 6.45% to the level of 87 rupiah per share. And next, let's see the rupiah movement towards US dollar. We're open at the level of 14,223. Rupiah was also showing weakening trend towards US dollar and was closed at the level of 14,257. In summary, rupiah went down 0.14%. Sales performance of Astra International increased significantly during the 9 months of this year or until the third quarter of 2021. The company's car sales continued to grow in line with the relaxation of the luxury tax for four-wheeled vehicles. The company recorded car sales of 343,837 units until September 2021. These sales jumped 78.87% compared to the same period in 2020 of 192,217 units. The sales until September have exceeded the company's full year 2020 sales. Meanwhile, Astra's LCGC car sales recorded an increase of 50.02%, which was 85,111 units as of September, from 56,733 units in the same period last year. The company's LCGC car sales are also close to full year 2020 sales. Meantime, Head of Corporate Communications of Astra International, Boy Klana Subroto, said the extensions of the luxury tax relaxation until the end of the year had succeeded in driving the increase in car sales during that period. Waskita Beton Precast has shipped its products overseas for the first time at the beginning of the fourth quarter of 2021. The company exports spun pile products to the Tilawa Shipyard Myanmar Port Project. Waskita Beton Precast has shipped its products overseas for the first time at the beginning of the fourth quarter of 2021. Marketing Director of Waskita Beton Precast, FX Purbayu Ratsunu, said the export shipment was to supply products for several infrastructure projects. The company sends span pile products or cold PHC piles with a length of 10 to 15 meters to the Tilawa Shipyard Myanmar Port Project. Meanwhile, the contract value of this project reached 1.73 billion kyat or equivalent to 15 billion rupiah. PHC piles products shipped as many as 17,729 meters or the equivalent of 1,580 roads will be shipped by sea using barge with a capacity of 300 feet. This export shipment to Myanmar is the first overseas project obtained by Waskita Beton. Thus, the company is said to still have the opportunity to get similar projects in the future. In the future, the company will continue to develop strategies to reach external markets by partnering with holdings and collaborating with international contractors or precasters. IDX Channel reports. And step aside from market condition as the efforts in achieving herd immunity is still going on. Here it is an updated data about COVID-19 vaccinations in Indonesia. And viewers, the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. And to prevent the spread of COVID-19, always wear a mask and get vaccinated immediately. Masks have been shown to reduce the risk of transmission by 80%, while vaccines minimize the risk of death by 73%. So let's wear masks and get vaccinated because masks and vaccines keep us healthy and happy. And I'm Fajar Wayong. Have a nice evening and stay safe.